This is another video about a hypothetical in English linguistics, so I'll give the necessary disclaimer that I'm going to be talking about hypotheticals here. We can't accurately predict how dialects of English will change in the future. There are so many variables involved, and it all depends on social factors that we just can't tune into that well. These things aren't predictable as far as modern linguists are concerned. I'm just going through some possibilities that would fit with our understanding of sound change because I think it's a fun thing to think about. The Great Vowel Shift is a big change in the pronunciation of English that happened between the Middle English period and the early Modern English period, and it's an example of a change shift, which is where one vowel in a language's vowel inventory changes its quality, its kind of sound, and it causes other vowels to also change their quality as well in kind of corresponding ways. And change shifts are a very common thing in modern languages, and they've happened several times in English since the Great Vowel Shift. I'll put some examples in a slide on screen. But the reason that these aren't seen as quite so significant is that they're very geographically limited. So they tend to only have occurred in certain places, in certain dialects, whereas the Great Vowel Shift affects all dialects of English, albeit it affects some of them differently to others. I don't think that a big change shift could uniformly affect all dialects of English today, just because I think the major dialects of English are so phonologically different from each other that the shift just wouldn't spread in the same way. But I do think that change shifts could and probably will affect individual dialects of English. So in this video I'm just going to go through a couple of possibilities, one for standard Southern British English and one for general American English. Again, bear in mind these are hypotheticals. We can't work out how these things will change. All we can do is use our knowledge of how sound change works in modern phonological systems and just make stuff up that is realistic according to that. I'm basing the first one on Jeff Lindsay's analysis of modern Southern Standard British English, which is a lot more up to date than the old descriptions of received pronunciation. The vowels that shifted in Middle English in the actual Great Vowel Shift were the long monophthongs e, u, e, o, o, a. The closest thing to long monophthongs in Southern Standard British English are what Lindsay calls the linking R vowels, which are the vowel sounds that you find in the words start, square, near, cure, force, nurse. R, e, or, These aren't arranged in the same way as the Middle English vowels were. They aren't neatly lined up at the front and back of the vowel space. For a change shift to affect all of these vowels, it probably wouldn't be a simple case of all of them raising. Instead, it might follow a zigzag pattern like this. First of all, the start vowel fronts. Instead of being at the back of the mouth, it's at the front of the mouth in terms of tongue position. Start becomes start, becomes stat, or stat if you're sort of glottalizing. Now there's no low back vowel R in this system because R has become A. The force vowel lowers to accommodate. So or becomes or, and then it unrounds to R. Force becomes force, becomes farce. Now there's no mid-high back vowel, so the cure vowel moves further back in the mouth to fill its place. Cure becomes cure, which is actually more or less how some people pronounce it nowadays. With the cure vowel becoming or, the nurse vowel moves into its place. Nurse becomes nurse, nurse. Then the square vowel centralizes to fill that gap that's left by the nurse vowel. Square becomes square, square. Finally, the near vowel lowers to fill that gap. Near becomes nair. So what in today's Southern Standard British English is the burning square caused the furious man to start to hear. In this hypothetical vowel shifted Southern Standard British English, you would have the burning square caused the furious man to start to hear. What about a general American example? I've had more trouble with this just because there isn't much of a pronounced long-short vowel distinction in general American. So vowels aren't contrasted based on their actual length, they're contrasted based on their quality and the tongue position and things like that. So it's hard to find a good analogue for the long vowels of Middle English. I've decided to just go with the monophthongs I, U, U, E, A, and R. Some of these are diphthongs for some speakers, but we'll take them as monophthongs just for simplicity's sake. Even though this isn't the same vowel system as Middle English had, it's shaped kind of similarly. So there are the same number of vowels at the front as at the back, it's just that the low back vowels are on average lower than the low front vowels. Actually, Middle English had more front vowels than back vowels, but this system is arranged similarly in that there's kind of two lines, one at the front and one at the back. What I suggest is a process like this. The fleece vowel, fleece, diphthongizes, as it has in some dialects. Fleece becomes something like fleece. To mirror this, the goose vowel diphthongizes, again, as it actually has in some dialects. Goose becomes goose. And now, the kit and foot vowels raise and become less central to fill these spots. Kit, foot become kit, foot. Now that kit has raised to kit, the dress vowel raises as well. Dress becomes dress. The slightly lower trap vowel, a, raises to the place of where the dress vowel used to be. Trap becomes trep. As these vowels raise, the strut vowel, raises to mirror them. I don't know what this would end up as. It could round and fill the place of the old foot vowel. It could just as easily raise and stay unrounded to something like strut. And then to fill the gap that's left, the lot vowel raises so that lat becomes lut. The vicar of steam put the loose bell and the rat on the sunroof. The vicar of steam put the loose bell and the rat on the sunroof. Hopefully the example sentences weren't too esoteric for this channel. I've not done a nice little nature-y shot thing in a little while, so I might just do some nice nature shots now. And if you'd like to leave here, then you can leave, or if you'd like to watch the nature shots, then you can watch the nature shots.